For some time now, the Assassin's Creed franchise has been in a very weird place. A similar place where the Assassin's Creed franchise was before Origins was released. The previous Assassin's Creed Shadows, was Ubisoft's promise of a major overhaul of the franchise. People and fans like me were tired of the RPG formula. The same discussion was taking place before Origins was released, changing the formula itself and the major release schedule. Well, we are at that point where we need to change the era for the Assassin's Creeds. But Shadows did not quite succeed and was seen as a disappointment by some fans. Now that you know the context, you know that Ubisoft desperately needs a win. So they thought about going back to their treasure and remaking Assassin's Creed. But why Black Flag is the question. Well, if I'm honest, in my opinion, it was to take advantage of the assets used in Black and Skull games, that quadruple A game that nobody played. But if you look at it from that lens, it makes sense. Besides the fact that Black Flag is one of the most beloved games in the entire world, not just Assassin's Creed franchise. Well, let's take a look at the game and see if it's the major win that Ubisoft was desperately needed, or if they ruined it again. Okay, so let's start with the graphics. Okay, this game looks amazing. I think this is the best thing that this game has for itself. I think this is the best thing Assassin's Creed Black Flag Resynced does. This is a side by side comparison between the remake and the remaster. Don't get me wrong, the original still holds up, but Black Flag Resynced is one of the most gorgeous games I've ever had the pleasure playing. I played this game on the PS5 and on high-end PC, and it surprised me on both the console and PC. Ray tracing makes all the difference. This is one of the best implementations of ray tracing I've seen in a long time, and I don't think it will be topped anytime soon. This is amazing. Another thing that surprised me graphics wise is the water system and how water behaves. This is the best water has looked in a game since the original, if I'm honest. This is the best ocean that I have the pleasure of swimming in. This looks amazing. Now you can go underwater, you can see the light coming from the surface underneath the water. It's beautiful. It's one of the best. Also, the individual hair strain came back from Shadows. It looks amazing in this game. Not as good as it looked in Shadows, to be honest, but it looks amazing nonetheless. The character models can be very complex. They can look good. They can look as worse as they did in the original game as well, and also the art direction is very good. Look, I've seen some discussions on Twitter about how this game looks like a Pixar movie, but if you ask me, that's a good thing. I love Pixar movies, and this hasn't a distinct art style. I love how this game looks. I absolutely love this game visual presentation. It still feels like Black Flag. It's not like they majorly overhaul the graphics. It's still the same game, but just more beautiful and more accurate in any way. Okay, now let's talk about the gameplay and my major disappointment with the game. When they announced Black Flag, I was curiously optimistic until I learned that they will be changing the combat to resemble more an RPG style, stating the reason that the original combat is simple and too easy. Like somehow it was usually agreed that the combat is bad or was bad at the time. This irked me the wrong way, I'm not going to lie. I love the Assassin's Creed 4 combat. I love the Assassin's Creed 3 combat. I think that's the best combat that we've seen in this series. I think it's the best combat in Assassin's Creed. Look, it was simple, it was easy, but it was all straightened out by exceptional animations. They don't make Assassin's Creed like this anymore. And basically, you can see. I'm not saying that the combat is bad, don't get me wrong. But still, I don't understand the argument that they wanted to change the combat to be more complex when you can make the argument that the new combat is as simpler or more simple than the original combat. Okay, so let's start with what's good, okay? Again, you have a Sparta kick. I love the Sparta kick. You can push enemies off ledges. You can throw enemies against the wall, then finishing them. You have a sweep kick where you can trip enemies and then finish them. And also you have the guns, the pistols. They remain the same. The combat is untouched in that area. And you have the rope dart. Seriously underrated part of the game. I loved every second of the rope dart in the original one. But somehow I loved it more here. I'm not going to lie. I loved pulling enemies towards me and then sweep kick them and finish them. I loved hanging enemies from the tree. I loved every second of the rope dart. I think this is the best part of the combat. But again, that was directly copied from the original game. Now let's see what they removed, because they removed a lot of the combat. They removed the hidden blade combat. They just simply removed it completely. They removed the fist combat when dealing with enemies who are unarmed in specific scenarios. Okay, okay. They removed every weapon in the game besides the swords. Okay, so you can't pick up weapons from the ground anymore. You can't disarm enemies. You can't use axes. You can't use other swords. You can't use knives. Again, the knife combat is gone completely. Basically, 90% of the original game's combat was stripped down. What is more weird is that they used the same animations for the finishes, stripped right from the original game. So again, while you make the argument that the original combat was too simple, I think this combat is too stripped down. Again, it gets repetitive after a while. It's easy. It's not a hard combat that you need to master. Basically, as soon as you dash away from a strike or perfect parry a strike, it's game over. You can finish the enemy right there. Why did they make this change to the combat? I think the only explanation that I have, in my opinion, is that they tried to make it more RPG so they can sell skills, time savers, multipliers to the combat, and they stripped that down at the last moment after they saw the reception to Assassin's Creed Black Flag. I think that's exactly what happened here. And again, it irked me the wrong way how they pretended that the old combat is somehow bad and it was universally panned or something. Like that was a major criticism with the game. Never in my entire life have I seen someone complain about the Assassin's Creed 3 and 4 combat until now. Nobody complained about the combat. The combat was amazing. Okay, but what's improved in this game compared to the original is the stealth sections and the stealth mechanics. Basically, this is where the game shines. In the original game, you could complete the whole game by just stealthing. But the stealth was not amazing, unfortunately. It was a pretty standard system from the Assassin's Creed PS3 era. Right now, you have a crouch button, something that was missing from the original game. You can hide in the shadows, in the darkness. You can observe and tag enemies. And thank God that the eagle system is not there anymore. They completely removed the eagle system, which I don't even know why they added it in the first place. I guess it looked cool for the first few times that you use it, but afterwards it just looks like an unnecessary step that you have to take to just tag enemies and resources on a map. So right now you can just right click and observe, tagging enemies, tagging treasures, objectives. This is the way to go. Don't ever bring the eagle back. Even after 20 years, when you are remaking Odyssey and Origins and Valhalla, and everyone will pretend that Valhalla was underrated, just get rid of the eagle. Just do it like you did it here in Assassin's Creed 4 Black Flag Resynced. Just right click. I can observe everything without a loading screen, without going into a different POV. This is the best way to do it. So you still have the same mechanics, social stealth mechanics in this game. You can still blend in. You can still hire ladies of the nights to basically hide you in plain sight. You can still drop smoke bombs. You can still run away, hide in haystacks. That's all here. Fortunately, they didn't think to remove that. And the thing that maybe changed, but I don't really notice it, is the parkour. Okay, it's responsive enough. It still has some issues. I'm not sure if the free running system is that important in a pirate game, to be honest. I think this is the game where the parkour system doesn't really matter because you don't have as many high buildings where you can climb on. But you can manually jump, something that apparently you couldn't do in the original game. I guess it's more responsive. I'm not sure. Again, I don't even remember the free running in Assassin's Creed Black Flag. It wasn't that important. Another point that we have to address is the ship combat. So, this is 50% of the game. Did they manage to do this right? Yeah, I think so. I think they nailed it out of the park. It's basically the same combat from Assassin's Creed 4 with some new added features. You'll still sail, find the ship that you want to raid. You can still brace when an enemy is attacking you. You can still board the ship. You can still use the railgun. Everything is the same with a few added touches and upgrades. I think the ship combat is incredible. I think everybody loved the ship combat. They loved it in 3 when it was introduced, they loved it in 4, and they loved it afterwards when it was never used again, maybe a bit in Odyssey. But I love the ship combat, and it's still the ultimate pirate fantasy simulator. Or maybe Skull and Bones is better, but we will never find out because nobody is playing that game. Who knows? Okay, regarding the story, this is the same story. Okay, they didn't change anything except some added new missions and secrets. But besides that, it's the same exact story from the 2013 game. Okay, so don't expect anything major. I'm not going to spoil the story. You can go ahead and play the game. It's the exact same story as the previous game. I want to talk about some things that I like in this game that are so specific that I didn't find a place in this whole review. I absolutely love the visual presentation when an enemy can be executed is when their hat is falling off. That's an amazing thing. I hope that they build off of that. I also like the destructible environments. I love the destructible environments in Assassin's Creed Shadows. It made a comeback here in Assassin's Creed 4 Black Flag Resynced, and you can see it. Every fruit and item in the game can almost be destructible. It's so satisfying to kick an enemy or pull an enemy in some destructible environments or break a fence with the enemy. There's something so satisfying in doing that. And I think we need more interactive environments in general in video games. I think graphics are not improving anytime soon, not majorly, I think. I think the next step is making sure that the environment in games and the game itself responds uniquely to the player. I think this is the next step that we need to take in gaming, in my opinion, and I hope that we see more of this in future Assassin's Creeds. Another thing that seems interesting in this game is that they mocap all the interactions, all the cutscenes in the main missions, but not the side missions. And that's a head scratcher because they were mocapped in the original game, but not in this game. And that results to this lame ass pose that Edwards take. The same pose that you see in Odyssey, Valhalla, and previous Assassin's Creed games. This is the best Assassin's Creed in years. This is the Assassin's Creed that almost made me fall in love with the franchise again. They have the bone right now. Ubisoft has the bone. They can recapture the magic of the franchise. They can regain the timing. This is it. Okay, they've been waiting years trying to make that smash hit. I think this is the smash hit. What does that mean for Ubisoft? I think it means two things. Okay, first of all, the guy who made this game, I'm not sure who it is, I'm not sure his name, the director or whatever for this game needs to be put in charge as a creative director for the entire franchise. This guy needs to lead the Assassin's Creed moving forward. That is my opinion. The second thing is they need to remake all the previous Assassin's Creed games. They need to get on with it. Let's go, baby. Let's remake Assassin's Creed 1. Let's remake Assassin's Creed 2 and Brotherhood as one game. Then let's make Revelation, very underrated. Then let's go 3 and so on. Until Unity. I'd love to see a Unity remake. I think it's one of the most underrated and underhated at the same time games in the series. The parkour in that game is amazing. I think that's their chance to redeem themselves. They need to go on with the remakes while also producing new games. Just stop reinventing Assassin's Creed in that major way. Okay? You need to add, it's the word, add to the formula. Don't remove or change the formula. Basically, Assassin's Creed is so easy to make and people love it because you can always change the time period, you can change the protagonist, you can change the location. We don't need an RPG Assassin's Creed, or at least not the major Assassin's Creeds. You can have an Assassin's Creed, a side game Assassin's Creed with RPG mechanics, but we don't need them. We need cinematic single player experiences with incredible graphics, with a good story, and a nice cinematic combat plus hardcore heavy stealth. I don't want to be pushed or obliged to go stealth mode or to go into combat. Let me make that decision. Don't make the mistake that Shadows made. Just let me go whatever I want, whenever I want, however I want. Guys, I truly recommend this game. I think that you should buy this game just to support Ubisoft, to support this direction. Wouldn't that be wild to see a return to form by Ubisoft? Wouldn't that be wild to see if they come banger after banger after banger, remaking Assassin's Creed, remaking Far Cry, remaking Prince of Persia? Oh, I love Prince of Persia. I'm so disappointed that was cancelled. I heavily recommend this game. I love it. The graphics, the combat, kind of, the level design, the art direction, everything is incredible. Please buy this game if you can. It looks and plays incredible in both PC and PS5. So that's all for me. Please don't forget to like and subscribe. And until next time, stay safe.